Welcome to Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. We began at the Yonex Sunrise India Open, where Viktor Axelsen collected his third title at the Super 750 event. The Dane, who was far from his physical and mental best, had to dig deep to power himself to a sixth final in New Delhi. And despite winning against Lee Chuk-yu on finals day, Hans-Christian Wittinghus believes Axelsen still has plenty of work ahead of him before he can get back to his best.
I'm sure it's very important for Viktor also in terms of his confidence. Once again, prove to him that if he's playing up to his standard, and I don't even think he hit his highest standard, but if he can find a way to be in mental good balance, he's still good enough to win these big tournaments. We know that since the Paris Olympics, his form has been very much up and down. We also saw him lose early in the Malaysia Open, and I know he didn't have the best preparation and everything, but like, losing matches just hits your confidence a little bit, and I think this win was huge for him. Going into this Asia tournaments with not the best preparations, but finding a way anyway to play himself into form and find a very good version of himself in the final. I think that means a lot to him. Well, I think if you look at the final especially, his number of unforced errors really went down a lot. I think also if you compare it to the quarterfinal and semi-final, I think he played with much more calmness and his defense was working better. I still think his defense is not working at the level we have seen in the past. And he actually found other ways to win in the quarterfinal and semi-final against Christie, where he was being much more aggressive than we have seen for quite some time. I don't think I've seen Viktor hit so many hard smashes as he did in the final couple of games against Christie for at least a couple of years. So I think that is one aspect. His power smash and his attack was better, and I also think he played the matches more aggressively than he's done in the past. He's trying to avoid lifting as much from the front court as he did in the past. So I think the whole aggressiveness in his game was actually working pretty well. I also think he managed in this tournament compared to some of the ones where he's lost. Even though he was not mentally in perfect balance in the quarterfinal and semi-final, he still managed to find a way to control it enough to not give away the same amount of points as he's done in the past. So this whole unforced error was much better for him and made it quite difficult for the guys to beat him. I think it's clear still that his physical ability is not back at where it's at his best. He also said in the Danish media that he was not he didn't have a lot of preparation going into these tournaments. I think he's still struggling with some injuries. He's also visibly frustrated sometimes on court with his back, you see, and also with his right leg. And I think it's quite visible in his defense that he's not moving at the same level as we've seen before, which I think is also part of the reason why he chose to go a bit more aggressive in his matches, because he's probably not trusting his movement and his defense in the same way as he did in the past. I also still think he has room for improvement on the front court. Now, we saw it work pretty well in this tournament, but I still think it's one of the areas where the other guys are really trying to challenge him a lot. I think he would also agree with me, probably there's still some room for improvement on that area of his game.
An Se-young's 2025 HSBC BWF World Tour season was off to a flying start after winning back-to-back titles at the Petronas Malaysia Open and Yonex Sunrise India Open. The Korean shuttler did not drop a single game in those two tournaments, and according to some of the players who faced her over the past weeks, An Se-young was in an unstoppable form.
그냥 배드민턴을 정말 너무나도 좋아하는 마음에 더 잘하고 싶고 계속해서 배워서도 보여지고 싶은 마음이 저를 배드민턴을 계속 하게 만드는 이유이지 않을까요? I want perfect play.
Wow. I think the technical term is a whisker. All over, and you could see from the celebration from the Korean, she knew she was in a fight there. Really spirited battle, no question. An Se-young was the better player.
She have a very good control that is very hard for me because she it's not easy to beat for today. I know when we start, and she really good control every shuttle. And Sejong fighting.
What a shot! And An Se-young retains her winning singles title here at the Malaysia Open. She was a class above her opponent, Wan Qi.
我觉得他今天整体会打得更加耐心，也是做好了很充分的准备吧。其实对手今天打得非常出色，然后也是从头到尾都一如既往的稳定吧，所以我觉得自己可能在第二局的时候会有一些没跟上吧。
Oh, that's just magnificent. It's gone wide, and An Se-young through to a second final here.
Pastinya kalau mau mengalahkan dia harus usaha yang sangat keras karena dia punya kekuatan yang cukup tinggi. Saya nggak cukup untuk main bagus saja, saya harus berusaha semaksimal mungkin dan harus tahan dari game 1. Mungkin kalau sampai game ketiga saya harus tahan terus secara fisik juga secara pikirannya. Jadi saya rasa itu pelajaran yang harus saya latih lagi untuk lawan dia di match selanjutnya.
Beautiful. This is it. 2 titles in 2 weeks. Second India Open title 2 years after the first.
Her attitude on court. She really a fighter. She can run every single shot. As everyone knows, she is the strongest women's single now. So it's challenge for me to play with her. So maybe next time I try myself harder and maybe can fight more.
On a scale of 1 to 10, because you play so well, how well do you think you play? 10 is the best.
Today is 8 or 9.
New pairs continue to dominate at the HSBC BWF World Tour, with Japan being the biggest winners after they produced another champion from their recently formed pairings Miyako Sakuramoto and Arisa Igarashi, while Korea's Seo Seong-jae and Kim Won-ho reached their second straight finals soon after winning the Malaysia Open. So why are these new pairs doing so well of late? Hans-Christian Wittinghus explains.
First of all, there's the obvious reason that there's no info available on these pairings, but I think just as much it's 2 other factors that also plays a role. First of all, the players often, when they get into a new partnership, they come into it with completely new motivation. It takes off a lot of the pressure. You just you don't really know what to expect, and I think that's the second and very big part, that there's less expectation from the surroundings, but also from yourself, because you don't know what to expect, so you're just playing a bit more on like pure joy and motivation, and that often results in players playing a bit more loose and not so tense in all the situations. So I think it often actually uplifts the new pairings individually, and it makes it more difficult for the other pairings, because pressure is actually on them. Everyone is expecting the established pairs that are world-class already and high in the rankings to probably win, but it's actually a much tougher task for them, because they are not able to look at video from the other pairs and really prepare in the same way, and they play with the burden of expectations. In new pairings, they don't. Well, I think managing expectations is obviously very important. It's quite clear that after a few good tournaments, expectations will arise also from themselves. So that's an area they need to work on to try and find the right balance in terms of the expectations. I think another aspect that's really important is that they will have to keep developing. The level they have now is obviously very good. We've seen that from the results. But if you don't develop, if you don't work on the weak spots and start to try and develop your game in another direction as well, they will be too one-dimensional, and then it's only a matter of time before the other pairings will catch up again. I think it's a possibility because I think both in women's doubles, where we've also seen the Japanese and Korean pairs, but also in men's doubles, it's quite open disciplines right now. Since the Paris Olympics, there's been like a change in some of the pairings. Like we see that Jie Yifan and Chen Kunchen are not playing on a regular basis anymore. We see the Chinese pair of Liang and Wang in the men's doubles are hitting quite a slump of form at the moment. So I think there are some opportunities right now to become a dominant pair in both men's doubles and women's doubles. So I think all these pairs, Kim and Seo in men's doubles, but especially also Igarashi and Sakuramoto in the women's doubles, I think they will be very exciting to follow, because I think Igarashi is really adding something different to the women's doubles game, and I think that could be quite a challenge for the established pairs to figure a way to handle that in the next year. So I'm having quite high expectations actually for these pairs.
Gregoria Mariska Tunjung had mixed feelings when she collected her first Olympic medal last year in Paris. The Indonesian shuttler was scheduled to play Carolina Marin for the bronze medal match. However, the Spaniard had to withdraw from the clash due to injury, leaving Tunjung as the automatic winner in third place. Here's the 25-year-old with more on her journey in the French capital.
Mungkin medali ini kalau untuk saya pribadi, saya sangat senang dengan pencapaian ini. Pastinya bukan usaha yang mudah untuk saya bisa mendapatkan medali itu, tapi semua rasanya saat saya berada di podium dan bisa memakai medali itu adalah sebuah kebanggaan tersendiri untuk saya. Ditambah saya tahu bahwa medali ini nggak akan bisa tercapai tanpa usaha banyak orang juga yang membantu saya di dalam lapangan maupun di luar, seperti pelatih, teman-teman saya tunggal putri di sini, terus juga keluarga saya yang mendoakan. Jadi pastinya sangat berarti secara saya pribadi. Ditambah juga karena yang mengusahakan untuk medali ini adalah banyak orang, jadi pastinya lebih berharga lagi karena saya rasa saya bisa merasakan ini bersama dengan orang yang membantu saya. Mungkin udah jalannya sih, karena kemarin mungkin aja kalau saya bertanding di bronze medal match, saya belum tentu juga bisa mendapatkan medali karena lawan saya mau itu Marin atau mau itu Hei Bingjo, mereka berdua adalah pemain yang sangat bagus. Jadi mungkin saya rasa ini bantuan dari Tuhan juga karena bisa mendapatkan medali itu. Karena mungkin di awal saya cukup ngerasa siap sih untuk berada di Olimpik. Apapun yang hasilnya saya nggak memikirkan, saya hanya memikirkan apapun yang bisa lakukan saya maksimal, saya akan mengusahakan itu. Mungkin saat itu saya rasa masa tegang saya itu udah lewat, karena sebelumnya saya lawan Korea, saya lawan Kim Gaon dan di situ saya hampir kalah. Jadi di situ saya rasa mungkin di match selanjutnya saat saya lawan Ratchanok saya lebih merasa lepas. Mungkin beban masih ada, tapi saya rasa saya bisa mengendalikan itu karena sebelumnya saya udah hampir kalah gitu. Jadi di saat itu yang saya pikirkan adalah gimana saya bisa bermain bagus dibandingkan hari sebelumnya, dan saya hanya mencoba mengejar satu poin sih, karena sempat ketinggalan juga di game pertama, tapi akhirnya bisa menang. Sebelumnya agak sedikit tegang, tapi saat udah masuk lapangan saya rasa saya punya kekuatan dan banyak yang bantu saya juga, jadi lebih percaya diri. Mungkin kalau di luar, iya, kayak merasa lebih banyak orang yang mengenal saya, ditambah kadang beberapa kali keluar untuk apa gitu, sekarang orang udah mulai berani untuk nyapa, kayak oh kemarin ini ya, selamat ya untuk medalinya dan yang lain-lain, dan pastinya itu adalah kesenangan tersendiri untuk saya karena dikenal oleh orang-orang sebagai peraih medali Olimpik. Tapi pastinya itu menjadi beban juga karena mungkin ekspektasi orang yang mengerti badminton pastinya akan menginginkan prestasi yang lebih, dan saya tahu itu memang harus saya perjuangkan juga. Jadi semoga dengan medali ini saya bisa lebih termotivasi untuk melakukan yang terbaik untuk diri saya sendiri untuk mendapatkan banyak gelar ke depannya.
You can catch Gregoria Mariska Tunjung in action at the Daihatsu Indonesian Masters this week. The Super 500 event will also be Hendra Setiawan's final appearance before the 40-year-old officially retires from international badminton. In the meantime, you can stay up to date with the latest results and news by downloading our BWF app, Badminton for You. And as always, let us know your thoughts, comments, and questions on our Facebook and YouTube pages. That's it from us. See you next week.